All right, it is time once again to spin the wheel of problematic to find out what randomly selected topic will be problematic this week. Nate, would you do the honors?
Yes, thank you.
All right,
Here
great
we
as well.
go. Huh. It landed on singing.
Singing. All right.
Prophecy foretells of a podcast so stunning, so brave, that it could only ever go by one name. A show so woke that it became its own gender. A show so hot that we'll understand if it turns you gay. You're listening to Stunning and Brave with Chris Cowan and Nate Henderson.
Welcome once again to another edition of Stunning and Brave. I am Chris Cowan, and with me, as always, is my trusty partner in crime.
This is a crime that we're doing?
I don't know. You know,
Oh.
I mean,
just
the way our
oh,
legal system is set up right now, they can get you
yeah.
for anything.
Well, I was
So,
gonna say the way that society is headed, I
yeah,
think it might very well be a crime in a couple years. But
that's what I'm saying.
until then, I'm Nate Henderson. Hi everyone.
Hi. And yeah, we have not yet been kicked off of Spotify. So,
No, no,
come at me, Neil Young. Well, how come
that's right.
how come Joe Rogan gets all the
What
attention?
what who do you think which obscure artists would come after us? That would be, so that way we could kind of have just a claim to fame.
Oh man. Tiny Tim? No, he's dead.
like
Dang it.
like Katie Lang wants us gone.
Yes. William
Just
Hung.
William. I'd have to respect William's
Yes.
wishes and leave the podcast.
I
That's
don't know.
probably
Weird Al.
Weird Al.
I just introduced the kids to UHF, by the way. If you have not seen UHF, you've seen UHF,
Oh,
right?
yes, yeah, I have. Yeah, it's a classic.
When did you see UHF last?
Um, I like saw it. I think right around the time, like shortly after it came out in the 80s.
Oh, you haven't
And
seen it since then?
then no, I saw it once, like 10 years later,
Oh
because
man.
it wasn't one of those ones that was like a repeat viewing,
Yeah.
because I mean, I saw it once. Probably, it was probably like at a slumber party or
Yeah.
something like that, and then 10 years or so late, maybe 15, I was like, you know what, that was a pretty funny movie. I'm gonna watch that again. And I watched it, and it was, it's funny. It's a classic.
Yeah.
And some people totally swear by it, like they know every single line
It's
and scene from it. So
it's a good movie. Like, it had been a couple years since I'd seen it, and I remember watching it with my siblings all the time and loving it.
yeah.
And so I just introduced my kids to it, and they freaking loved it. They were just cracking up the whole time.
That's awesome.
And I wasn't really sure if it was going to hold up for the next generation, but apparently it
Yeah.
did. So it
Well, yeah. Weird Al crosses all generational borders.
he really does. He really does.
There's people that are like in their 80s that love him, and there are kids that are just starting to discover it, and they're not even 8.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's really funny that, yeah, I mean, he's been around since the 80s, and I actually know
Yeah.
some people who went to college with him. Um, and
Oh, neat.
they said he lived up to his nickname, Weird Al. They said that
Yep.
they'd be like, "Hey, Al," and he'd just like look at them and keep walking, like just give the weirdest
Oh
crazy
yeah, the
eyes
Weird Al stare. It's classic.
and keep walking. And but yeah, no, they loved it. So it was really fun. Tons of '80s pop culture reference that totally went over
Oh
their
yeah.
head. But there's also,
Totally.
but I mean, they chose the ones that are a little more like evergreen. You know, like
Mhm.
everybody knows the Indiana Jones running away from the
Oh
boulder
sure.
scene.
Oh
So
sure.
that whole thing,
Didn't he
you know,
didn't he do like a Rambo thing too, where he had
yeah,
the fake bodysuit on or
fake
whatever?
muscles. That's so great. So good. They
Yeah.
loved that. They
I think
loved that
I think
too. Yeah.
I think Spatula City was my very favorite segment from that one. I just love, nothing says I love you quite like a spatula.
My favorite was it was like the high school shop class teacher
The high
who
school.
he like chops off his thumb, and then his like blood is splurting all over, and it gets on his face, and he's just like, "Boy, is my face red. Call me Mr. Butterfinger." It's just like, it's so weird. That's what it
is so weird.
They said it reminded them of Monty Python, which is pretty high praise because they loved Monty Python.
That
and
is
the Holy Grail,
good
so
praise. Yeah.
I'm just
sure.
like, okay. I'm like, if you can wish for nothing else from your kids, I feel like wishing for them to like Monty Python and Weird Al is
for
really
them to
all
have
you
an
need
appreciation
in life.
of those things is great.
I'm like, whenever I have my doubts about, are they turning out okay? I don't know. Parenthood is kind of sketchy sometimes. I'm just like, okay, nope. They like Weird Al and Monty Python.
There you go.
They're good. They're good. They're well they're well adjusted. That's all I need.
My son has developed a love for Whitesnake, so I think I'm accomplished as a father.
Yes.
I think that's really all I need. If I do nothing else with my life or with his, at least I know he'll appreciate Here I Go Again.
Nice. I feel like they're not quite into the Lord of the Rings yet, though, which is probably my last concern for them.
They will. They will.
That's what I'm hoping for.
You have to approach it delicately. You watch The Hobbit?
Yeah. But he wanted to watch The Hobbit. That's my youngest wanted to watch The Hobbit because he's in a Hobbit stage production.
Right. Okay. There's a bit more motivation for that.
So he was motivated to do that. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is the gateway to Lord of the Rings, which is the actual movie you want to see. Because The Hobbit is just kind of like, okay. I enjoyed it more this time than I did the first time, but it was still like, it's not Lord of the Rings. Like,
see, I'm gonna have to try my hardest and not go overboard when I first show.
Don't do the Don't reach for the extended edition. I know that's
Well, okay. I guess I can appreciate that, but no. But I mean, this is what I would do though. I would like full on like dress up like a hobbit. We'd start watching the first movie.
Oh, okay.
Like in the morning when we wake up, we would celebrate with food and
second breakfast.
Second breakfast and all that stuff. Just make a flippin' day out of it.
Okay, that might be the way to do it. Yeah.
But that's the problem though, is that if he's like super, and I say he because it's gonna be a while before my daughter's ready to watch those movies. But if my son, gets like kind of overwhelmed or whatever by the first movie, it's like, well, just hang in there, buddy. We've got 6 more hours to go.
Yeah. I like that approach though. Make an event of it, like dress up in costumes.
I was gonna. This is such a nerd I am, but I was gonna do that for like all of my adult friends like 15 years ago. Like I was seriously, I was gonna use my brother-in-law's giant movie screen. I was just gonna tell him, hey, this is happening, and we were gonna do a Lord of the Rings trilogy marathon all day.
And now you don't have to torture your friends because you've got kids. So
that's exactly. So now
that's perfect.
I can foist it on them. So
hey, count me in. Maybe we should make just a big, like father son, like.
Dude, I'm down.
Like make a whole event of it. Just
I'm down.
Like,
see, and then we'll use your TV. So I'll just keep using people's TVs.
Perfect. That's
and we'll just order DoorDash all day. It's like
yes. No, we got to do like some kind of Hobbit themed like meal.
Of course.
So we got to do like some kind of like.
It's like does the taqueria have mead?
Yeah. It comes in pints and I don't know what hobbits eat.
Lots of beer, obviously.
Obviously, like lots of beer for the kids.
Lots of ale. Sorry, quote unquote.
Yeah. I think that's the way to go.
We'll figure something out.
All right. Well, moving on.
Check your privilege.
This is the part of the show where we're two heterosexual cisgender white males. Obviously, we're just dripping with privilege. This is our time to just kind of acknowledge that and just kind of you feel bad about it, as you should, and then just kind of admit it and confess it without any hope of forgiveness or salvation or redemption.
Yeah. Sounds depressing when you put it like that, but that's the way it is.
Well, it's ingrained in our blood and our society. So all we can do is just acknowledge it and
It's true.
hope everything just kind of works out, I guess, Sorry. But this is kind of our weekly ritual, our cleansing ritual. All right, I'll kick things off.
Yeah.
So I've realized my twins are actually turning 13, and
Jeez.
which is kind of mind blowing.
Yeah. Dude,
and
I remember going to their first birthday party.
yeah, oh yeah. You brought your newborn. Hey, it's coming, man.
Dude, I know.
The twins are 13, and I'm just realizing like the kid stage is over. You know when they like transition from baby like to kid, and they stop like looking quite so much like a baby. And they're just like, they're not quite a toddler anymore. That's just a full on, you're dealing with a kid now.
Right.
Well, now I'm realizing I'm dealing with a teenager now. I'm officially in that teenage phase. And it's not like, he's a good kid. Like Mason's a great kid.
Mason's a great kid, yeah.
But so it's not like he's like full of like just that classic like teenage attitude or anything. Like he's a pretty good kid.
Okay, when you're done with your story, I have to tell a very quick one from when I visited a couple nights ago, because it was just like it was pure teenager on his part. But anyway, continue.
Okay. So so he's a good kid. He's definitely a very teenage phase though. And what comes with that, and this is the part I wasn't really prepared for, is the girls.
Oh.
There's girls happening.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
now when you say happening, that could be all sorts of different things.
right.
Like do you mean that they're all just kind of hanging out, that they all or that he has an interest in them, or they have an interest in him?
So
both?
he plays his cards pretty close to the chest, and every now and then I get like a vibe of like, oh, okay, he might be kind of into her, maybe. And it's funny because like we asked him like, this was a few months ago, or like, hey, any girl, just kind of teasing, any girls that you like, and he's like, oh, not really, and then Connor, his younger brother, who's 9, blurts out, yeah, and then we'll call the girl Susie.
Okay, so Connor full on called out his
Connor
brother's
is just
crush.
like, yes, he likes Susie, and Susie likes him. And I'm like, okay, really? And
all right.
And he like starts teasing Mason about it, and Mason's just like, Mason doesn't even care. Mason's just like, okay,
Mason
whatever.
doesn't get like angry. He's just like, whatever.
He's just like, whatever. Like, I don't care. Call her my girlfriend. I don't care.
He's so chill.
He's so freaking chill. And then later I talked to Connor about it. I'm like, hey, how do you know that they like each other?
Right.
And he's like,
because I caught them making out.
No. He's like, this was his answer. He's like, I don't know. I just like to stir up drama.
Oh my God. Dude, that is so Connor.
Like, what the heck, Connor? So, but he's like, but he does like her. They hang out a lot, and I think she likes him too. So I'm like, okay, all right. So Susie is a girl from church.
Okay, I was wondering how the connection happened there.
And I mean, she kind of follows him around, and like, she's just there by his side.
Just like a little lost puppy.
The entire time, and it's like cute, but it's also like, dang, like, did we prepare for this moment? I don't know what to do. And at the same time,
Yeah.
though, he there's also a girl at his school that he spends a lot of time chatting with on the old chat app, which we monitor and scan through, and because kids, I don't care what Google says, I don't care what Apple says, I don't care what Facebook says. Kids do not deserve privacy. Rap. I just spilled some thing.
They definitely
Kids don't get privacy.
No, heck no.
I do not understand the parents who are like, well, we need to respect their privacy. Like, no, okay,
Nope.
if they're taking a dump, then yes, give them privacy. I will give them privacy. But other than that, like, no, we're monitoring what they do online.
There you go.
Checking browser history. We're checking those chat transcripts with their friends. Because I'm sure you've heard,
that's good.
horror stories and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What happens when that isn't monitored and they start talking to people they don't know or we don't know super well, all that. So, and the whole time he's just like a chill dude, just talking and sending memes, and some of them I'm
chill.
like, I don't think that's appropriate. Like, that's a little crass. Like, was I telling jokes like that at 13? Probably.
Oh, man. If we had cell phones,
Oh my
forget about
gosh.
it, man.
Yeah. Well, they don't have cell phones. No cell phones.
Yeah. The only way I could have gotten busted at 13 is if my friends happened to spill the contents of what I told them from their brains.
Right.
But there was no
There's
no
no
digital
record.
evidence. There was no written evidence. There was no audio evidence.
That's so true.
There was his word versus my word, and who are they going to believe?
Right.
The firstborn. That's who they're going to believe.
That's right. Now that I'm looking back on it, I'm like, actually, I told way dirtier jokes than he's like telling his friends. I just didn't know what they meant.
Yeah.
Like, so his are actually really mild because his are just like, here's a joke I'm telling my friend. I'm like, it's kind of inappropriate, but I'll let it slide because it's also kind of funny.
No, I know. And then, like, kids these days, they have everything on record now, like, for the most part.
Weird.
Like, if you're not just like having a conversation in person, everything is recorded and monitored. And I mean, just being a kid with that level of scrutiny, that must be kind of nerve-wracking, I imagine.
Right. And so that's why I'm like, it's a weird balancing act as a parent to kind of be like, okay, I see what's going on. And like, maybe if it was happening right in front of me, I'd intervene. But since it's not, I kind of like, I'm almost just like, I'm going to just like play it cool. Just play it cool. Because you got to kind of let them find some of the boundaries. It's just a weird place to be. So we got the memes getting sent through chat messaging, and we got girls that are like kind of just following him or talking to him all day. And I just like, I don't know, man. It's just it's so weird.
He's fighting him off with a stick.
I know. Thankfully, so when did you like? How old were you when you started liking girls? Because,
dude, I was an abnormality, man. Like I started having like big time crushes. I want to say like in second grade.
Yeah. Okay.
Like first or second grade. Like I was really like I had crushes starting like in first or second. I always had a crush on some girl. Like
okay. Yeah. Same here. So for me, the idea that you just aren't into girls until a certain age is like kind of weird for me to wrap my mind around, because I'm like trying to like check in and have these conversations as we're getting close to the, that adolescent, pubescent, hormonal stage.
To be fair, even though I started having crushes like I said, first, second grade, and from then on, I never had the guts to act on anything until I was in flipping high school. So so this was all going on in my head. Nobody had any idea based on just my actions that I actually had a crush on that. So,
Right.
so maybe for some of our kids nowadays, maybe it's kind of like that, but they don't share it.
Yeah.
And then it isn't until they get comfortable actually hanging out with the girl,
Mm-hmm.
talking with the girl, that it's like, okay, they're
Yeah.
displaying some behavior that they really like this person.
Apparently, I kissed a girl when I was like 2, so I just
Oh,
I was apparently very forward and just
two.
liked girls very early on. Yeah.
Huh.
So there you go. So I'm
Interesting.
just some kind of horny freak 2-year-old.
Well, that's one way to phrase it, I guess. Wouldn't be the way I chose, but that's
I was a
wow.
romantic. How's that? That's better. I've
Okay.
always been a romantic. There we go.
Well,
That's
but
better.
he seemed so chill about it though, like Mason does,
Yeah.
that I don't know. I guess I wouldn't worry too much. It's not like
Yeah.
he's not. It doesn't sound like he's like head over heels, like
No. It's
you
his
know.
it's his younger sibling Connor that I'm gonna have to watch for, cause
Oh, dude, I wouldn't trust Connor further
yeah,
than I can throw him there. That's yeah.
he's
That's
just
that kid is straight up trouble.
oh man, he's gonna just be so much trouble. I know it. But anyway, so that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
Teenagers,
yeah, good
girls with
times. Okay,
crushes, and all that
so
stuff.
mine doesn't relate. Mine doesn't. The little story I told you I was gonna tell doesn't
Oh yeah,
relate to the girl crush thing,
hmm
but
teenage
just the
attitude
fact
though.
that just the fact that it was the teenager thing. Because
Yeah.
remember, I had asked you if my son could borrow the Halloween costume of Marty McFly that one of your kids
Oh
like
yeah.
wore for Halloween. So I'm talking with I'm talking with Mason, and I'm like saying, "So, was it you or your brother that went as Marty McFly for Halloween?" And he's like, "Oh, that was me. That was me." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Okay, see, I didn't know because I was talking with your father and he wasn't sure if Connor was Marty or if you were Marty." And I was like, "Hey, Noah has like this 80s day coming up at his school and he was really hoping to dress up like Marty McFly." I was like, "I don't suppose you still have the costume that he could borrow or at least, some of it or something so that we could kind of recreate it." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I don't really know where that is." I'm like, "Okay. No, I respect that, maybe room's a little disordered there. I was gonna say, well, I don't know, do you want to check or and he's like, "Oh man, I don't know what happened to it. I just don't know. I don't know what happened." And that was the end of our discussion. And it was
Nice.
hilarious because your wife was sitting right next to him. And so I was almost kind of like expecting her to be like, "Well, buddy, you can go, maybe check your closet or something, see if there's something there." And she looks at him and she looks at me and it's kind of like, well, if he doesn't know where it is, then he doesn't know where it is. So I'm
You're just kind
like,
of like, oh,
all
where's that
right, well,
complacency come
that's
from?
the that's that's it then. That's
All right.
but he was so chill in his answer. I was just like, oh man, we got teenage Mason on full effect there. So
Yep. Yeah, that's
yep,
that's
good
that's
times.
about right. That's about
Yeah.
right. And then you asked me for it, and I totally forgot to look for it and give it to you. So
Oh no, it's fine. It's
you
fine.
didn't get
Yeah.
the Marty McFly costume.
No, I'll
Yeah.
just dress him up like some member of Van Halen or something. He'll be fine.
All right. Perfect. All right.
Okay. Is
What's
it
your
my
privilege
my
check?
share?
Yeah.
Okay. So I do a lot of grocery shopping
Hmm.
for the family. I actually enjoy it because I've got like all these podcast episodes that get backlogged and I can just like pop in my earbuds and cruise the grocery store aisles and just
Yeah.
get food, kind of tune out while I'm doing it. And so I went to the grocery store over the weekend and I made the severe mistake of going. I want to say it was on a Sunday around 11 o'clock, somewhere in there. And I had forgotten that a majority of older people will usually go to the 8:30, 9 o'clock service at a church. And so they were they were all over the store. Like I had never seen such an influx of elderly just shopping at this time of day. I don't know what the thing was, but it was just, and I was like looking around for young people too, and there was barely any. And I'm sorry, I'm not young, but there was barely anybody there under like 50, as far as that
Wow.
goes. It's 50 and older at least, and so and look, I love love elderly. They just they're in no rush. They're in no, they're making a day of it. They're making a day of
Yeah.
it, and they're going to enjoy. And if they want to observe the nutritional information of broccoli and and just stand in the way of said broccoli for 5 minutes, they're entitled to do that. Like they're,
Yes.
but just like I don't know why, but I started just imagining that I was trapped in the store with all of these elderly people that were just shuffling around. And then so it really was kind of like almost a scene from like a zombie movie, but in the daytime,
Yeah.
where it was, it was the afternoon of the living elderly. And what they would basically do, and I can't stand it when people do this. Like I'm like in an aisle and I'm looking at something, I'm trying to make a decision, and then I start to kind of move towards it, and somebody else that has also been making a decision just cuts me off like
Oh.
right away to like grab something. And 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 that happened to me like five times, like. And so so I'm trying to like maneuver through all these aisles. I can't do that. They do that annoying thing where in an aisle where you park the cart on this is a sin in my eye, in my eyes. You park the cart on one side of the aisle, and then you do your browsing on the other side of the aisle, so the aisle
Oh.
is fully
Fully
blocked.
locked
It's
in.
like that is a grocery store faux pas.
You
You
might
do
as well
not do
just
that.
pull down their trousers and start like peeing around the area, just
And
like marking out their
I
territory.
totally did. It was very confusing for
Oh,
them.
okay.
Uh,
Good.
no, okay. So finally, I get all this stuff on my cart. I'm like thinking, this is weird. Everybody's being super weird. I need to get out of here. And so I head into the freezer aisle, which at this store is it's actually much wider. It's like, I want to say it's like double wide than your normal aisle, the freezer aisle, for whatever reason.
Okay.
And so I'm like, can't go wrong. Got plenty of room. Save the frozen stuff for last. Here we go. And freaking A, dude, like two couples, two elderly couples, they were opening the door. Each couple was opening a door to a freezer, and they were right next to each other. So the entire freezer aisle was blocked, as one person was looking at waffles and the other person was like looking at egg rolls, and they were looking at the nutritional value. And then their spouse was right behind them. So you had a four-person blockade just lined up on this freezer aisle, and I just about lost it because
You gotta.
my I had to get the what you say.
I was gonna say you gotta wonder if this is intentional because you think about it. Like when I imagine myself as an old person,
Yeah.
like I mean, I'm still in my 30s, and the last thing I want to do is get up early ever,
Right.
especially on a weekend. So
Right.
what is it with old people and then like intentionally getting up super early
Mm-hmm.
only to go and take like the longest time ever doing everything for the
to
rest
take
of
up
the day?
to
You got
take up everybody's good waking hours is what they're doing.
you got to wonder if they're just like if this is all intentional. There's like some like
Uh-huh.
like group text thread or something where like all the other old fogies and they're
Oh
just
yeah.
like, all right, 5 a.m. sharp, we're hitting Denny's.
We're
Right after that, we're gonna inconvenience all the young people at the Rayleighs.
at the
Okay, let's go.
rails. That's where it was.
Yeah, and they're just
and
like,
so
oh, here comes a young person. Quick, let's clog the entire freezer aisle.
quick, link arms, link our
Link
feeble,
arms.
brittle arms. And all I wanted was the hash browns on the other side. So, and this was just the cherry. This was the cherry on top because I was like, this is so weird. I feel like I'm in a weird Twilight Zone sort of thing where like the elderly are just slowly taking over this grocery store. I'm in the freezer aisle. I finally managed to get the hash browns, and this dude who I want to say probably like in his 50s, he's got this small dog on a leash that he is pushing his cart with, and the dog's just walking beside him. And he starts coming down the aisle, and he's like, and this is the dialogue that he's just shouting, and he's shouting loud like somebody's supposed to hear this. And I don't know if he must have been, I hope he was talking to the dog, but he was looking around at all of us in the freezer aisle like he was kind of hoping for a response from us. He's like, that's because it's mommy. You like your mommy, don't you? Yeah, your mommy. Everybody loves their mommy. And this guy's just like walking down the freezer, and he's staring at us super creepily. So it's like, are you talking to the dog, but you're like looking at us for a response? He even stops and he looks at me and he's like, you like your mommy, don't you? And I'm just, and at this point, I'm just like, well, I mean, I don't think this could get any weirder. Just my trip to the grocery store. And I'm just like, yeah. And he's like, sure you do. And he walks and he keeps walking down the aisle, like asking other people, or just keeps saying, he's mommy. Everybody likes mommy. I'm like, this dude was whacked. I don't know what he was whacked out on, but
And then you
it
find out
wasn't like,
Sal and Murr were whispering in his ears what to say all that
dude, it wasn't like
from
a
Impractical Jokers.
service dog. This dog wasn't a service dog. This is just one of those guys that decided I'm just gonna bring my just the dog that's just slightly bigger than a Chihuahua into the store and just start talking to it. It's weird. It's almost like the dog was telepathically talking with him, and he just was, I don't know, but I immediately grabbed my cart and I just made a beeline for the checkout because I'm like, this whole trip is really bumming me out. So it was just weird. Like
Maybe
serves me right. Serves me right for not going to church
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Yeah. Well,
That's probably, I bet you anything, that was God just saying, you know what? You're not going to spend time with me. You get to spend time with all the weirdos and freaks and elderly people
Yeah.
that won't get out of your way. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Bing.
Well, it's almost like does stuff like that ever happen and you're just like, okay, am I on the Truman Show? Like,
Oh, dude, I think yeah, I mean, this shows how old I am, but I honestly think Ashton Kutcher's gonna pop out and just, point at me and be like, "You got punked."
yeah.
Like you just feel like you're on some
He
candid
only does that
camera.
to celebrities, though, so you're safe.
So, well, yeah, that's true. Well, I'm on this show.
You're not that important.
Oh
You're
crap!
you're not that important.
All right, but yes,
Um,
no, I do feel like somebody is organizing it just for their entertainment.
So that's probably what happened. Is
and-
they were
and
the
I'm-
director behind the scene in the moon in the sky from the Truman Show is like expecting. Okay, so it's Sunday. Nate's gonna go to church because he's a good, dedicated Christian. You
Uh-huh.
threw a whole wrench in the machine. Decided to
did.
go to the grocery store, and they're like, "Oh, scrambling! Quick, get some old people in there. Get a bunch of old extras in there to like block off the path so we can get the freezer working correctly and hide all
Great.
the people who are taking their lunch breaks."
Great.
Whatever.
So I've got Ed Harris monitoring my every move.
Yeah, basically.
That's great.
So there you go. All right.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
All right, I'm going to tell you about the Cellcast. Hosts Jacob and Drew review animated movies and TV shows, discussing what they appreciate about the medium in whatever form it takes. Whether it is a traditional hand-drawn animated movie, claymation shorts, or a 3D CGI series. Check out some animated reviews when you subscribe to the Cellcast at thecellcast.podbean.com. And don't forget, Cell is spelled with a single L, not two L's. Okay? Single L. Cellcast. All right? They're just making sure. Because it's, like, if you know about animation, like the cell, an animation cell is a clear thing that each drawing gets printed onto, or used to back before everything was done with computers. So cellcast.podbean.com. Check it out.
The Social Net Jerk.
All right, this is the part of the show where we peruse the internet for all kinds of crazy shenanigans, because people always be doing crazy stuff online. And there's just always an endless supply of content. This week is no different, and so let's see what we've got going on here. Actually, do I have the first thing ready?
Got it?
I do. Okay, I got it queued up. Okay, here we go. This one, I spotted this one in the wild. So somebody shared this headline, and we've seen a lot of this kind of thing where a politician ends up kind of not really following the COVID restrictions, and usually it's like some Democrat who's like really hardcore, like, okay, wear masks on everywhere, even indoors, put your mask back on in between bites and that kind of thing.
Right.
And then you find them...
Not usually a shock when you have some conservative person who's against all the mandates in the first place.
Right. But when you have like a Democrat who's like, you've seen it with the Democrats, and there's a lot of hypocrisy where like Governor Newsom is all about the mask mandate, and then he's just throwing a huge party without any social distancing and masks. You had Nancy Pelosi, who, big on all the mask mandates, social distancing, and closing down all the businesses that she deems non-essential, and then sneaking into a place to get her hair done. And then that comes out. We've seen a lot of that happening. So somebody posted this one. This is a headline. Sarah Palin dines out again in NYC days after positive virus test. So the latest politician is Sarah Palin to break the COVID rules. And that's pretty messed up. Right after getting the positive virus test, you're just dining out and exposing people.
Yeah.
But what makes this funny is the person sharing it is a little confused, because their commentary is another Democratic moron.
Wow. They were this person was apparently not alive in 2008.
Right, when Sarah Palin ran for Republican vice president.
Mm-hmm.
And another Democratic moron. All right. Maybe one of our listeners commented, maybe she's just saying that Sarah Palin isn't a Democrat, but she's Democratic. So
she was my first and last celebrity political crush.
No. It's all about Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi, yeah.
She's
true.
a Democrat, but she's a hottie. Just saying.
No, I'm sorry, but they have to be a Republican, Chris.
And she's like the most sane of
the Republicans.
left leaning. She's
She's
really
she's
centrist.
sane and she's hot. Yeah.
Sane and hot. Check.
Yeah.
2 boxes checked.
But
Third one is breathing. We're good.
But back in 2008, I can guarantee you, I did not miss any of those political speeches. Let me tell you.
She wasn't that young then either. She was.
Didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
Nope.
She was still young in your your fantasies. All right. Sarah Palin. She's aged a little since then. She's still. I mean, she still looks great for her age.
I haven't even seen like video of her in the last 10 years.
She still looks great for her age, but
she's still in Alaska. She's still
probably
doing her thing in Alaska.
I don't know.
She can see Russia from there.
Yeah, she's. I don't follow her. It's all about Tulsi Gabbard. I'm telling you.
Yes.
One time ousted Democrat presidential hopeful. But anyway.
Yeah, no, she got that restraining order against you, right?
Yeah, she did. No, actually, what's fun fact is
fun fact, after we talk about restraining orders, you're like, funny
She actually did when I stole a lock of her hair. No, she's actually starting up a podcast, and a friend of mine was like, hey, Tulsi Gabbard's people reached out to me to see if any writers want to like help with the podcast that she's starting.
Wow.
And I was tempted to be like, yes, okay,
yes,
I'll do that. But
I will have to work in person.
Yes. And you can pay me in locks of hair. And for some reason they haven't gotten back to me. So, it's not necessarily.
I'm sure they'll be getting back to you any day now.
Yeah, I think so. All right, next one here is a little fun fact. I love the freaking like so-called like historical facts that get shared around as memes, and people eat this crap up.
If it's in a meme, it's a fact, man. I take it as fact.
This one is from someone named Mr. Imhotep, and it shows a picture on one side. It has a statue of, it's not actually Buddha in that statue, actually. That's someone else, but they're calling it Buddha.
No, it's not. Yeah.
And on the right side, it's a photo of a black person with a similar hairstyle. Bantu knots is the hairstyle. And so the caption is, did you know the original Buddha was wearing the hairstyle known today as Bantu knots? The ancient people of Asia were black. There are numerous Greek and Roman records about these Ethiopians, black people, living from Africa to India. Buddha was not a fat, white Asian man as we are taught today. Can I just...
A fat, white Asian man.
Who has ever been taught that Buddha was a white Asian?
I don't know.
Who has ever been taught that Buddha was white? I don't think. I don't remember.
Maybe he was
ever
portrayed that way once in an abstract cartoon. I don't know.
I don't, Kung Fu Panda, maybe. I don't know. Just doesn't make any sense. But
yeah, that is
Yeah. I just love these alternate history things. People just like
they're great.
And the ones where, like, they're just like, did you know so-and-so was actually black? Did you know so-and-so was actually black? And there's, like, this movement where, like, the Jews were actually all black, and the people who we think of as Jews aren't actually Jews, and all that stuff. And it's just,
wow.
The Egyptians were actually all black. And
now you're sounding like Whoopi Goldberg.
I mean, I'm expecting next they'll just be like, did you know that, like, Canadians are all black and the British are all black, really?
We're all black right now.
Everybody's all black, and then we can all just chill on the racism and I guess move forward peacefully.
Gonna be like one giant global Shyamalan type twist.
Yes. We were all black the whole time.
The whole time.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, man.
I love it. All right. This next one, brace yourself. This one's a peach, and that's why I'm saving it for you, Nate. You get to...
Dude, this one upsets me. All
right.
Okay, so I'll describe the picture first.
I love giving the most challenging ones to describe.
Yeah, no, it's really great. It's really fun. Great. So it is I want to say like it's either like it's like a watercolor maybe, or something. It's a painting.
Yes, it's a hand-drawn painting.
So we're looking at a bride and a groom,
Mm-hmm.
and their backs are to us, and they're holding hands,
Mm-hmm.
and with their other hands, they are approaching a cross with Jesus crucified to the cross,
Yeah.
and their hands, each of them have a hand that is joining with Jesus's hand, and it looks like it's impaled
Yeah.
with the
Their
same
hands are
nail.
like crucified with
They're
Jesus's hands.
Yeah, yeah. So just imagine if like the two of them and Jesus all held hands, the three of them, and then then Jesus put his hands up to the cross along with their hands, and somebody just drove a nail right through both of them. And that's what the picture is. And then in the little caption there, it says, "It took two to get married, but it will take three to stay married." And then down below it says, "Keep Jesus in your marriage."
I just feel like there's probably a better way
You
to
think?
depict that message. I just feel like maybe
I look, because I've seen other pictures where it's like, the bride and groom will be holding both hands, they'll be facing one another,
yeah.
and then kind of the image of Jesus is behind them with his hands on their shoulders or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. That's just great. This is really taking it to extremes. The whole pick up your cross sort of thing, and if you throw that in a
Hmm.
blender along with the marriage and then the symbolism, and hey honey, let's go get crucified during our wedding day.
I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it. Don't
I
like it.
don't
No. Is
I
that
don't
like
like where
some
you're going with this.
when I just imagine like cuz people like to keep their, wedding ceremony. Some people like to make their wedding ceremony a little more unique, a little, some people
Yeah.
will light a candle, like join two candles to one to like represent the coming together. Some people will do like, communion at their wedding to
Mm-hmm.
symbolize,
Mm-hmm.
the inclusion
Oh
of
yeah.
Christ in their marriage.
There's lots of things you could
Can we
do.
maybe
Lots of
just
symbolic things.
I feel like there's a few things you could do before you like drive a nail through each other's hands into a cross with Jesus. Like I just feel like maybe that's not we can skip that. We can not do that instead of
What
doing that.
what would be more awkward at a wedding? Symbolizing something like this with actors, or
Oof.
an altar call? Like,
Oh man. It's a toss up. It's a
it's
toss up.
kind of a toss up, right?
It's a toss up.
Oh man.
I've been to the weddings with the altar call. I don't think I've
Oh
been
yeah.
been to a
Yeah, yeah.
wedding where someone was crucified.
What? What?
I feel like you could sell tickets to that one, but
Well, I mean, if you think about it, every wedding, the groom is pretty much crucified. So,
oh wow, wow,
oh,
that's some
I'm just,
chauvinism right there. That is
I'm
not.
just,
I would like it on the record that I do not approve of that, Nate.
yeah. No,
No,
we just have tape of you just saying, "Say the joke, say it,
yeah,
do it, Nate."
I wrote it down for you and handed it to you, but still
No,
inappropriate. Inappropriate.
the whole thing is very awkward,
Oh man,
and
there's cringe.
I don't like. Yes, there's major cringe on the cringeometer. That's what we
Mm.
should. That's what we should rate these based on the
And
cringeometer.
the best part of this though is actually I noticed because this was shared on Instagram by Savior S quotes. I guess is the Savior's quotes is supposed to be the thing.
Okay.
And there's like a whole bunch of everybody wants to put their watermark on it when memes happen. So like the
Mm-hmm.
Instagram page that's sharing it puts their stamp on it, Savior's quotes. Um, and then the original artist has their watermark on it. So it's just like an ugly mess of different watermarks
It
now
it
on
really
the drawing.
is. It's not.
So you've got like an RFC, which is the watermark for reppinforchrist.com, which is such a great.
They got it on the groom's butt too.
Yeah.
That's great.
Reppin' for Christ. That's such a cool, not cringe name for your website.
Reppin' for
Definitely.
Christ.
I just picture like some dude with a soul patch and a backwards hat, like literally just time traveling from the 90s to present this work of art for us, because nobody else would come up with reppin' for Christ.
No, he'd have a self-engraved hat with that logo on his ball cap.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Be like, RFC, brah.
Oof. No. That's a no. That's a no from me, dog. Oh, all right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That I feel like there's cringe, and then there's Christian cringe. And for some reason, like, Christian cringe is just like a whole nother level.
It is.
And
something about it that just exponentially worse.
I think it's because it's so sincere. It's like so sincere. Like there's just cringe if you're just like trying to be cool and relatable or whatever and totally failing. But then there's cringe where it's just like, I am spreading the gospel right now with this fake $20 bill, or this little cartoon character of an angry atheist professor spitting like drool out of his face. Like,
Dude, I've seen that. That was a good pick right there.
oh, those old Jack Chick tracts are they are.
Yep. They're so great.
I mean, sure, God can use anything, but
but just you having drawn plenty of cartoons in your lifetime, I can only imagine how those make you feel.
oh man. Well, I mean, they make me feel like the way God's Not Dead made me feel, which is God's not dead, but after seeing this movie, I'm dead inside because holy crap,
I'm gonna need him
that
to revive
movie
me, 'cause,
was heresy. Not the doctrine stuff is probably fine. It was just like, it was blasphemous in terms of like, you are dishonoring God with such a terrible piece of crap that you produced. Just a lazy like piece of crap.
This does not represent us, I swear.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's so bad. So, I don't know. Oh, speaking of which, have we talked about freaking Finding Jesus? Speaking of
we're gonna have
Christian-
to save that for another.
Do we have to? You think so?
I mean, unless you want to. I'm just saying, like, you could go down so many
You know what I'm referring to, right? I've shown it to you, right?
Okay. Yeah, I'll
okay.
never forget it.
Maybe that'll be a teaser for another time. Finding Jesus. It's on Amazon Prime if you want to look it up. It's
the fact
the worst movie
too
ever
that
made.
we're doing more video now. Perhaps we could even show a little sample to our audience next time.
Well, because the audio alone is scary. Oh my gosh.
The worst voice acting I've ever heard. Anyway,
it's so bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that brings us to the final segment.
Ugh, that's problematic.
And as you heard at the beginning of the show, this week, singing is problematic. Every episode we choose a random topic and we have to decide why it must be problematic, because the question is never whether it's problematic. It's only that it is indeed problematic. No question. So as always, we put it out to our faithful listeners at Stunning and Brave, at the Stunning and Brave Autonomous Zone on Facebook, and we got several responses, and for some reason they're not all loading for me, so I don't know what that's about. Oh, okay. Do you have it up?
I do.
Okay. Wow. My browser is like tweaking.
That's always awesome.
All comments. Why is it not showing me all the comments?
Yeah, we got a handful of main comments, and then there was a nice little discussion that happened between a couple people for about
Oh, that's right. I'm like,
10
it says there's
posts.
21 comments, but I'm not seeing 21 comments. 'Cause
There's really
like,
about 4 or 5.
yeah. Okay. All right. So what's problematic about singing? Thomas says every time I try to do it. Now that's problematic. I guess Thomas is not, singing might not be his gift.
He doesn't feel very confident about it.
All right.
Todd, out of sheer humility, says some of us are really good at singing, making others feel inadequate.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
All right.
Robert says singing often consists of making your voice louder than others, and no one's voice should be louder than mine. That's a great point, especially from a former pastor. So definitely always good to hear that.
I think that attitude is shared by a lot of people on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Todd, same humble Todd says, choir master always put me in the back because I was one of the loudest tenors. Yeah, it's because you were the loudest for sure. That's why. It was the volume, not the ability.
Robert zings right back with saying, Todd, you really should consider others before unleashing your privilege on the less fortunate.
Oh, Jonathan says,
goodness.
my pastor said, some people say, y'all pray for us, we're gonna sing. And he thinks, y'all pray for us, we've gotta listen. All right, that sounds like some old Southern Baptist kind of, well, I don't know. I was non-denominational growing up, so my pastors never said y'all.
That sounds straight out of Texas right there.
All right, what's next?
Oh shoot, I think that was all I had.
That's all you had. Okay. Jacob says community singing is an opportunity to find out who has not brushed their teeth.
Oh.
Oof, yeah. Just be glad we're not facing each other when we sing. That would be
Yeah.
rough. Yeah.
Yeah, just bits of food flying everywhere.
And Jeremy says everybody can do it, but not everybody should. I'll tell you what's problematic about singing.
Oh, yeah?
Is I recently found out that Nate has the voice of a baby angel and he's been hiding it from us this whole time.
Shut up.
So okay. So for my birthday, I had a birthday recently, and and we did karaoke for my birthday, which is a funny choice because I'm like the only person I know who like cares about who enjoys karaoke.
Right.
And so I was kind of like, I don't know if this is the best idea, but well, I mean, I'll go.
Well, it was arranged for
yeah.
you, right? I mean, the get together
it's
was
my birthday, yeah.
But you didn't plan the get together.
No.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of like I'm gonna be the only person singing. It's gonna be weird. And it was mostly
it was fun, man.
Mostly true, but it was fun. And at one point somebody put in Bohemian Rhapsody, and the entire birthday party went up on stage and sang Bohemian Rhapsody, which is I just feel bad for the audience because it's just such a freaking long song. Like you might as well do American Pie. Like it's
right.
It's such a freaking long song.
As soon as that acapella part starts at the beginning, you can see there's gonna be two types of people in the audience. There's gonna be people that just kind of like, because they know the next like 6 minutes or whatever is gonna be occupied with this crap,
right?
Or the other ones that are kind of like, woo, okay, Bohemian
Yeah.
Rhapsody. Like,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
so you get there's no other types. There's
Yeah.
just two types
Yeah, we
that
got
when
a
they
we
hear
got a
that start.
good mix of that, I think. So,
Yeah.
but what happened was like we get to the part, and this happens to everybody, I'm sure, where you like feel like you know the song, and then you go to sing because you know the chorus, and then you go to sing the verse, and you're just like, wait, how does that go?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
Nate, you saved the freaking day. We handed you the mic, and you just killed it on the verses. You just freaking killed it.
I tried a little Freddie Mercury there just to see
And
how.
this whole time, you've been hiding your beautiful vocal abilities.
I get embarrassed singing in front of others. What can I say?
So
That's why I knew going to this thing I would be embarrassed. I would be very very anxious about singing in front of people. Which is why it was a very good starter to sing with a group of 5 other people.
Yes.
But no, I enjoy singing in the shower, and
Alright.
but no, hey, my mom is an excellent singer, and grew up listening to her sing. She was the very musical one in the family, and turns out I can hold my own. I can hold my own. I've been in a couple of stage musicals. Don't want to brag.
That's right.
Couple of church musicals there, where I had to sing a little bit. So it's fun, and I thought it would be fun, but I know that the DJ that's always there probably wouldn't want to do this, but to have karaoke roulette, like you just have a bunch of artists that you basically have to pick,
Oh
from a
yeah.
hat, and then you get to choose whatever song from that artist you want. I thought that'd be kind of fun.
That would
And
be
then
cool.
somebody has to just try and hold their own. If you
Oh man.
pick out Lady Gaga, you got to go with it, man.
See, I would suck at that so bad because unless that
Why?
artist was like from before the 70s, I'm probably not going to know most of their catalog of music.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless
I guess
it's like pre-70s or just like
yeah,
a huge like alternative rock hit from maybe the 90s, early 2000s.
right,
I'm like
right,
not
something
up
like
on
that.
like current
Yeah,
music at all.
because you're right for karaoke, and honestly, like from what I can know, this was, I think, the first time I've ever been to like an official karaoke night.
All right.
I did like rock band and stuff like that with family. It doesn't count. This is like in front of complete
Right.
strangers, that you're singing. So I was even more kind of terrified. But yeah, no, it's you're right. Where if you aren't familiar with the song and the
Yeah.
kind of the way the words are delivered, then it's hard. You can't just like put on a melody if you're not familiar with it and just start singing.
Yeah, it's really got to be a
So
song you know super well. And that happens to me
yeah.
all the time where I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, I know the song. I can sing it." And I'm just like, "Oh, it has verses? Oh, there's a bridge? What? What? No, get back to the part where like, "Don't stop believing." Okay. Are we done?
You're like asking the DJ, "Do you have like a chorus only version?" Maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
With
Or
could you mix that for me, please?
Or there's a song like, well, like actually, "Don't Stop Believing" is a great example where it's just like, oh,
Mhm.
this song doesn't end. It just keeps
No,
going. You like just
no,
keep saying,
and
"Don't stop
and
believing."
and some brave soul chose that
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
It's
The
great.
worst is "Hey Jude," because
Oh,
you listen
that's
to
a
"Hey
long
Jude,"
song, right?
yeah, and it's just like, oh, it's a great song, and it's just like verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, and then you get to the end, and it's just like, "Hey Judah, Judah,
Nah.
Judah, 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 Judah,
Yeah.
Judah, Judah,
You're like,
Judah."
do I have to do the
Yeah,
part
forever.
where McCartney totally freaks out?
Yeah. Can you just like, okay, I've said Jude like 50 times. Can we just wrap it up? Cut.
Dude, that happened to me when I was listening to because I was singing along to Elton John's "Benny and the Jets,"
Oh yeah.
and I was like, "Oh man, this would be a fun one to sing." But then you get like the last 2-3 minutes of the song, the whole time you're just like, "Benny, Benny," Like he just does that and shreds his vocals for 2 minutes straight. And you have to think like, okay, I'm just gonna be up on stage just screeching to the audience here and driving everyone crazy. That's when you give the DJ just the cut, fade out,
Yeah.
please.
I
So
did.
no, it was yeah.
I did "Hey
It was-
Jude" as a karaoke song one time, and I've just
Oh.
I will never again. I will never again do
Nah,
it. It's
nah,
a fantastic
nah,
song.
nah, nah, nah.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
it's a great song,
it's a
just
fantastic song. I
not
just-
not for karaoke
not
purposes.
for karaoke. No, not for anyone
But
who
it
like
was
wants to
it was a
like,
lot of fun.
wrap it up at any point.
The night was really fun, and as you brought up a point that night was that nobody like really sucked, like
Yeah.
nobody like which is very rare from what I hear from a karaoke night, because it's like
so rare. That was like
Yeah.
there were like every singer was just like not only could carry a tune,
yeah,
but like several of them were just like killing it, just like incredible singers. It was like,
Yeah.
wow. I'm like, because you go to karaoke night, you kind of expect, okay, half of them are just going to be drunk, so they're just going to suck right out the gate,
naturally.
and the rest will probably think they're better singers than they are. So the whole time you're probably going to be like really annoyed at the performers. But this was like, oh, like I feel like we were going to a concert because these people were like really
Yeah.
good. It was amazing,
Dude, people
So, yeah.
people came ready to sing, man. They had it
Yeah.
lined up. They wanted to sing their favorites, and everybody was doing great. And yeah, a lot of fun. I want to do that again soon. That was great.
All right. Well, apparently it's every Thursday, so we should do
Oh.
it again. We'll make it happen.
Just
this
once
Thursday.
a week.
Let's go. Let's do it.
You and me.
You don't understand. I don't have any friends who do karaoke.
We're gonna sing Ebony and Ivory. It'll be great.
We'll do Afternoon Delight. All right.
Oh, even better.
For sure. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Stunning and Brave. You are all beautiful people, and we appreciate you, and we would love to sing karaoke with you sometime. So I'll catch you. We'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye.
If you're not telling everyone about this show, you're probably a potophobe and a Nazi. Don't be a potophobe. Tell your friends and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you subscribe.